Let me show you the secret to creating huge pads in house and techno music. Let's jump into it. This is a track that we worked on the two previous videos that I did where I talked about the bass and how to create a track in uplifting Dorian scale. I'm gonna jump into the pads and show you exactly how it's comprised and then take the thinking away so you could apply this, take it away with you to your productions is what I mean, to be able to apply it into your own music and see how that works. There's a lot that could be done with pad layering, and I'm not going to cover all of it. What I'm going to cover is a few main things that you could learn today, and it'll make a difference for you soon in your music. So let's listen to the chord progression, all the 4 pads together, and let me dive into each one of them and explain to you the thought process of how to properly layer to create bigger pads. So, of course, the collection of the track together sounds obviously fuller. The pads are occupying the highs and the super highs, I call them, like the real airy highs. But let's listen to the whole thing one more time, and then we'll jump into the pads. So if we start off with, let me just solo this. If we start off with this pad right here. So aside from the chord progression being nice, what's important here is that we're kind of covering the highs, mid highs to high region. It has a bit of a resonant sound, like it has a bit of a nasally sound, so it kind of breaks through. It's soft at the same time, and there's movement within the sound design itself, the micro sound design. What's important here, frequency-wise, we're kind of like in this region. Keep this in mind. When I play the second one, let me just play the second one alone. Together. They both beautifully play a role that complements each other. The second one exactly in the same octave in the same region, and they're both panned in different directions and opposing directions, creating some sense of stability. The first one is a bit brighter, the second one is a bit duller in sound, but at the same time doesn't have the nasaliness. We can't have two sounds with that nasally feel. It's going to be too much, right? So they're complementing together. They both have different types of ingrained movement and rhythm, and together they're creating a complex structure that actually work together. So here we want to be careful that we don't choose sounds that are very similar. We also choose sounds that have contrast, so both the contrast appear, or else if you are layering too much of the same thing over and over, you start emphasizing one specific characteristic of the sound and then losing the grain and the detail through the process. If we're going to layer and lose some grain, that's okay, but at least let's bring some contrasting elements to add movement to the emotional progression of the chords. Let's listen both of them together again. My computer was about to blow up. So there's beauty to it. Now, let's look at these two layers. This is, hold on, let me solo this. Yep, let's hear this one. Now, this is a type of an embellishment where we're taking a few notes from the chord and we're creating and emphasizing a specific lead, a specific melodic quality. Kind of sounds like a bit like a bagpipe, maybe. And rhythmically, I could get a bit more creative through the process. But what's important here is like we're taking the complex harmonic melody and we're just kind of highlighting a specific line. Imagine having a paragraph and highlighting a sentence from it. That's the idea. In terms of where this frequency range wise, it's quite higher. It's kind of in the high airy zone. If we look at this other sound, this has harmony, meaning like it has layers to it. It's not a single sound, but at the same time, it carries a bit more weight in the middle, but also has that high. So both of them together, they complement each other because they're both kind of playing a different function. They're opposing and panning to each other as well. And they're both filling up the airy space of the highs. Let's start from the beginning here. And they both sounds have their own movement, slowly moving through and creating texture and depth to the pads. Now, if we layer them all together, we have this region and the top region filled up. Let me play the plucks on top of it to see how it supports the melody. And when it comes to the pluck, I know this topic is not about the pluck. The pluck is adding that dirty, noisy flavor that we hear in analog sounds on top of it, because the rest of the music, the rest of the pads in this case, are softer in essence. Yes, there's a bit of the nasally sound. There's a bit of the sharp kind of bagpipey sound a bit. It's not a bagpipe, kind of reminds me of it too, though. But then the sounds are cleaner and warmer. So adding that pluck layer on top of it in terms of a macro sound design approach to add a bit of that dirt on top of it, it creates good character and it creates good contrast. And layering is about contrast. There's a lot more we could say about layering, but just having your layers opposing and panning and complementing each other in similar frequency ranges and kind of stacking that way already makes a massive difference. And being able to take an aspect of your harmony and highlighting a specific sentence from it, and you could go in a million directions here, will give a bit more color and flavor than just stacking and copy pasting the same chord progression everywhere. That's it for this one. This every single time, as long as you approach this type of thinking to any of the melodic tracks you're gonna write, you're gonna see our pads are gonna find their place on the track, and it's going to feel big, and it's going to feel like it's filling up the space like it should, and it's going to add proper value to the emotion of the track. So keep it up. If you guys need any more in-depth help on stuff that you guys are struggling with, you guys can always book a call. We could chat, see if we can help, if we're a fit. We don't work with everyone. We always want to make sure that whoever we work with is serious, ready, and also is in the right headspace to get the help that they need to be able to level up. So either way, book in a call with us so we could get to know you, see what your struggles are, and point you in the right direction. Whether we work together or not, my goal is to make sure that you're always pointed in the right direction, which is also the purpose of these YouTube videos. But the call allows us to dive deeper, get to know each other better, and give more specialized kind of approach and advice. Hope this helps. Apply this. Let me know how this shows up in your track, how this translates into your music. If you have any questions, ask in the comment below, and we will get back to you. See ya.